Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the INT Demon Goddess Towa and just how good she is after her Extremes Awakening. Now Towa is pretty good. She's a really solid support. I think overall she's incredibly reliable. I think she's very solid. I think she does a good job. She brings a lot of good utility. She's a Dragon Ball Heroes lead of 150%. She raises attack for 1 turn, causes immense damage to the enemy, lowers their attack and seals them, which is pretty good sets of utility. Her passive is really where things get pretty crazy. She has attack and defense of 180%, gives all allies 40% attack and defense and key of 3. She has a high chance, 50% chance of proccing another 10% additional attack for allies, and another high chance, 50% chance of proccing an additional defense at 10% for allies. She has a high chance, 50% of evading attack when HP is 50% or more. She gives extreme class allies attack and defense of 60%, recovers 50% HP when HP is 50% or less once only, and she'll get an additional attack and defense of 40% up to 120 in total with each attack evaded. She has Demonic Power, Solid Support, Battlefield Diva, Master of Magic, Thirstal Conquest, Scientist, and Sharing the Limit as her link sets. She is on Battle of Wits, Crossover, Dragon Ball Heroes, Dragon Ball Seekers, Pepe Gal, Siblings Bond, Terrifying Conquerors, and Time Traveling Warriors. Now the big thing with Towa is that she is pretty good. I'm gonna be honest, she's pretty solid. Your experience with her will largely come down to her ability to evade. Now I know that is for most evasion units, but for Towa it's quite sizable. Her passive is multiplicative with her baseline, so she can almost double her defense just by getting a couple dodges in. And that elevates her from pretty good to being really exceptional. We're talking 9 million attack stats, 40% support, 50% support possibly, along with also having pretty nigh on 500k defense, all at a 55% level. This is pretty good. The big thing about it though is that it's going to depend on those evasions. So how do you build her? How do you make her function? Now the thing is you can go for crit, and crit honestly, would make her attack stats hit pretty nicely. Additionals don't really do too much. They will lower the opposition's attack a bit more, which I feel is fine, and she will also obviously get some more attack, a little bit more of that. She can't really seal someone twice. For me, I feel like her best build is a bit of crit and a bit of evasion. I think that's really where you want to shine with her. The reason you want to give her some hidden potential evasion, although it's a separate instance from her passive's evasion, firstly, it gives her some kind of catch mechanic if she falls below 50% health. So it does help to keep her with some kind of defensive ability. But what it really does is it allows her to essentially have additional chance of proccing those attack and defense stacks. And that's really where she shines. That's kind of like what elevates her or pushes her to being at a even higher level. So I do really think from my side that she sits to be in a very good position because of that. I think overall she kind of exists in a really nice kind of place because of her ability to really function well with the dodge capability. So I think for me it's a really good build to go for her. I think if you got dupes in her, I think giving her a little bit of crit, because you do want those attack stats to crit, you do want crit, I think it's important, and giving her evasion is probably the right way to go. If you can give her maybe 20% evasion from the hidden potential system, then she has a really nice failsafe and kind of catch mechanic. She'll probably dodge a little bit more frequently, and then we're really looking at kind of like a 60% overall dodge chance rate, because you'd have 20%, 50% of the time. So you're looking 60%, 61%, pushes her just into that little bit more reliable bracket. And then with a little bit of crit, that means she can go a long way. And I think overall that's probably where I'd sit with her and where I'd have her function. The rest of her kit just works really nicely. She works really nicely. Everything comes together really well. And overall, I'm just very impressed and happy with her overall build and functionality. So yeah, I think for me, really good, really excellent stuff. And honestly, I think she's a very impressive unit. With that being said, I think if you have her, great. she's not too limited. She doesn't have any requirements for, you know, being on a crossover team or anything like that. I think she's very, very good from that perspective. She's not restricted. She's not, you know, locked down. She's not reduced. She's not in any way like kind of held back. And I think that's important. I think it's very important for her as a unit to kind of sit in that space, and it allows her to really function well because she's not in a lot of categories. So her being able to be on those categories a little bit unrestricted, I think, is very good. She just functions a bit better on an extreme team. Now, that being said, she's really solid link-wise. Her links are a little bit wonky. I'm not going to say they're the best links overall. Generally speaking, you're looking to shoot for Thirst for Conquest is probably the most common one. And then Shattering the Limit, I think, is probably the best. Then you've got some kind of left field links with Master Magic, Demonic Power, Battlefield Diva. These are great links. Battlefield Diva obviously great on the Pepe Gals team, but they do function a little bit more in isolation, more so than anything else. So yeah, pretty good stuff, honestly, for me overall. And I think she's really solid. I think link leveling works well for her as well, because whatever links you do get do benefit a lot. I don't think there's a link here that's not solid. Plus Battlefield Diva gives you another 5% chance to evade, so you're starting to really rack up those evasion chances, and I think it's all really good. But yeah, overall, I would say she's in a good space, she's really solid, and I'm very impressed with how well she's functioning. So that's pretty much going to be it from me. Let me know what you think about Towa. Do you think she's good? Do you think she's bad? Do you think she works well? Do you think she's consistent? What kind of builds did you run? I think those will be very interesting to hear. And what kind of teams are you running her on? I think that's also something that's, you know, very, very interesting. But yeah, overall, I'd have to say I'm really impressed with her, and I'm super duper happy with how well she's doing. And I think for me, as a unit, she's really, really solid. So that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.